Assalamu alaikum. This is major finance class, and we will be completing chapter 8. This is our last chapter for the final. So we have discussed about several financial crises. We have talked about the dynamics of financial crisis in emerging market economics. 3 steps we have discussed. The first one was the initial phase, how financial crisis actually evolves, and then the currency crisis, and thirdly the full-fledged financial crisis. We have also discussed about how to prevent these financial crises in emerging markets. The first one was to strengthening the regulatory mechanisms, and the second one was to sequencing financial liberalizations. And we have discussed about several case studies, how to tackle those financial crises. And we have discussed about the 1907 Asian financial crisis. We also discussed about the Icelandic financial crisis of 2008. And also we have discussed about the South Korean crisis. Today we will move on to the Mexican peso crisis, which is a tale of misguided policies and fragile confidence. So in the realm of global finance, where the winds of change blow unpredictably, the Mexican peso crisis of 1994 stands as a vivid testament of to the volatility and fragility inherent in emerging market economies. This study, woven with threads of economic imbalance, political upheaval, and the resilience of the nations, unfolds as a cautionary tale going through the corridors of financial history. So let's move on to the key aspects. The first one was the early warning signs. As the early 1990s dawned upon Mexico, the nation found itself at a crossroads, navigating a landscape fraught with macroeconomic imbalances. High current account deficits and an ever-growing short-term debt burden cast shadows of uncertainty over the horizon. Yet, against this background of apparent prosperity, fueled by enticingly high interest rates, Mexico's economic foundations were silently eroding. Adding to this backdrop were waves of political unrest. The assassination of a prominent presidential candidate sent shockwaves through the nation, shaking investor confidence to its core. With elections looming on the horizon, the specter of uncertainty loomed large, further exacerbating the nation's economic woes. However, it was the confluence of events in the early 1994 that served as the catalyst for the impending crisis, the Zapatista uprising. A rebellion erupting in Chiapas region shattered the illusion of stability, sending ripples of panic through financial markets. Investor confidence, already teetering on the edge, plummeted, triggering a frantic rush to exit the peso and draining foreign exchange reserves at an alarming rate. December 1994 marked the climax of Mexico's descent into crisis. Faced with mounting pressure, the Mexican government made the fateful decision to abandon the fixed exchange rate for the peso. The repercussions were swift and severe. The peso plummeted in value, unleashing a torrent of inflation and economic turmoil that reverberated across the nation. The banking sector, already strained by rising interest rates and mounting defaults, buckled under the weight of the crisis, further exacerbating the nation's economic woes. Unemployment soared, livelihoods were shattered, and social unrest simmered on the streets as protests echoed through the corridors of power. Yet, amidst the chaos and despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. The International Monetary Fund, IMF, recognizing the gravity of Mexico's plight, extended a lifeline in the form of a $48 billion bailout package. In exchange, Mexico embarked on a journey of austerity measures, financial sector reforms, and the bold decision to float the peso, heralding the dawn of a new era in the nation's economic history. From the ashes of crisis rose valuable lessons. etched in the collective consciousness of emerging markets worldwide. The Mexican peso crisis underscored the perils of volatile capital flows and the importance of sound macroeconomic policies in safeguarding against economic instability. It emphasized the need for realistic exchange rates and transparent communication with investors during times of uncertainty. Indeed, the tale of the Mexican peso crisis serves as a saddening reminder of the fragility of markets and resilience of nations in the face of adversity. It stands as a testament to the enduring spirit of human endeavor, inspiring emerging markets to navigate the treacherous waters of global finance with wisdom, foresight, and unwavering determination. So the maximum, the highlights that we should need to be followed, that we need to manage our capital inflows, we need to sustain our debts, we need to be transparent and communicate with our society and government. Strengthening defense institutes are also a severe issue in this kind of crisis. Moving on towards another case study, which is the Argentine economic crisis of 2001 and 2002, stands as a poignant reminder of the intricate dance between economic policies and political decisions, culminating in a catastrophic meltdown with far-reaching consequences. It is a tangled wave of mismanagement and meltdown. It delves into the complexities of this case, unraveling the tangled wave. Towards the case study, towards the key aspects. At the heart of the crisis lay a series of systematic vulnerabilities, each exacerbating the other in a vicious cycle of economic deterioration. Argentina's decade-long adherence to the convertibility plan, pegging the peso to the US dollar, proved to be a double-edged sword. While initially intended to instill confidence and stability, this fixed exchange rate regime ultimately stifled exports, rendering them uncompetitive and inflated the peso, exacerbating the nation's debt burden. Fiscal mismanagement further compounded Argentina's woes as mounting government deficits fueled by excessive spending and rampant tax evasion spiraled out of control. The resulting borrowing spree only served to deepen the nation's debt trap, exacerbating its vulnerability to external shocks. Deregulation and lax oversight in the financial sector paved the way for reckless lending practice, as banks extended credit with little regard for risk. This imprudent behavior left Argentina's financial institutions dangerously exposed, teetering on the brink of collapse even before the crisis reached its zenith. The crisis was not an isolated event, but rather the culmination of a perfect storm of external shocks. The reverberations of the Asian financial crisis and the broader international economic slowdown further weakened Argentina's already fragile economic foundations, increasing their sorrows and eroding investor confidence. The tipping point came with a loss of confidence as economic turbulence and political instability sparked a wave of panic among investors. The resulting capital flight drained Argentina's foreign exchange reserves, leaving the government with little choice but to abandon the currency peg in December 2001. The peso's precipitous plunge and the subsequent default on public debt shattered whatever semblance of stability remained, plunging the nation into the depths of an unmitigated disaster. Hyperinflation ran rampant, reaching staggering heights of over 2,000% in 2002, eroding savings, decimating businesses and plunging millions into abject poverty. The banking sector, already on its brink, buckled under the weight of devalued deposits and mounting loan defaults, freezing credit and further increasing the economic downturn. Against this background of economic turmoil and social unrest, boiled over into protests and riots as widespread employment, poverty and hunger gripped the nation. The revolving door of political leadership, with 5 presidents resigning within less than a year, underscored the depth of Argentina's political turmoil. Yet, within the chaos and despair, the glimmers of hope emerged on the horizon. Argentina embarked on a long and arduous journey of recovery, negotiating a massive debt restructuring with creditors and implementing severe austerity measures to stabilize its economy. Gradually, inflation moderated and the economy began to claw its way back from its brink. However, the scars of the crisis run deep, leaving a lasting imprint on Argentine society. Persistent inequality and vulnerability to external shocks serve as stark reminders of the fragility of economic stability. The Argentine economic crisis offers valuable lessons for policymakers and individuals alike. It underscores the precarious nature of currency pegs, the importance of sound fiscal policies, and the critical role of effective financial regulation in preventing crisis. Moreover, it serves as a poignant reminder of the need of emerging markets to remain vigilant against external vulnerabilities and build resilience in the face of uncertainty. In dissecting the causes and consequences of Argentine economic crisis, we glean insights that transcend borders and timeframes, offering a roadmap for navigating economic challenges and fostering sustainable growth in an ever-evolving global landscape. The Turkish banking crisis of 2001 unfolds as a harrowing tale of economic, political vulnerabilities colliding to unleash financial turmoil in an emerging market. This academic narrative endeavors to meticulously dissect the multi-faced layers of this case, shedding light on the intricate interplay of factors that precipitated the crisis and the arduous journey towards recovery, which is a recipe for financial turbulence. As the curtain rises on the late 1990s Turkish economic landscape, the stage is set with a precarious banking sector on the brink of collapse. Characterized by a perilous concoction of high, non-performing loans, inadequate capital reserves, and lax regulatory oversight. The banking system stands as a proverbial house of cards, vulnerable to even the slightest tremor. Concurrently, the macroeconomic imbalances cast a looming shadow over the Turkish economy with rampant double-digit inflation. A gaping current account deficit and the shackles of a fixed exchange rate regime weighing heavily on investor sentiment. Adding fuel to the fire, the spectre of political uncertainty looms large as a fragile coalition government grapples with the Herculean task of navigating the nation through choppy economic waters amidst looming elections. Against this backdrop of simmering economic and political tensions, the Asian financial crisis of 1997 emerges as the proverbial straw that broke the camel's back, sending shockwaves reverberating through Turkey's financial corridors as foreign direct investment dwindles and capital inflows dry up. The fragile foundations of the Turkish economy begin to crumble under the weight of external pressures. Investor confidence wanes and a palpable sense of unease permeates both domestic and foreign markets, setting the stage for a tedious reckoning. In the fateful February of 2001, the dam finally burst as the Turkish government is compelled to relinquish its grip on the fixed exchange rate regime, triggering a seismic devaluation of the lira. The aftershocks of this currency crisis reverberate throughout the banking sector, unleashing a wave of loan defaults, bank insolvencies, and a freezing of trade flows. As the economy lurches into freefall, unemployment soars, businesses shut up their doors, and societal unrest simmers beneath the surface, threatening to boil over into open revolt. Amidst the chaos and despair, Turkey secures a lifeline in the form of a $16.8 billion bailout package from the IMF in May 2001. This infusion of financial assistance breathes new life into the battered economy, providing a much needed respite from the storm. Embarking on a journey of redemption, the Turkish government implements sweeping reforms aimed at restructuring the developed banking sector, to recapitalizing institutions, and fortifying military frameworks. Slowly but steadily, the Turkish economy begins to claw its way back from the brink, buoyed by resurgent exports and foreign direct investments. So, what did we learn? As the dust settles on the Turkish banking crisis, a plethora of lessons emerge, etched into the annals of economic history as cautionary tales for generations to come. Chief among them is the imperative of cultivating a robust and well-regulated banking system capable of withstanding the tempests of financial volatility. Furthermore, the crisis underscores the indispensable role of sound macroeconomic policies in fostering investor confidence and staving off economic collapse. Moreover, the pivotal importance of political stability and the steadfast commitment to implementing necessary reforms looms large as a beacon of hope amidst the turbulence seas of uncertainty. Finally, the crisis serves as a reminder of the imperative of emerging markets to remain vigilant against external risks, fortifying their defenses against the capricious whims of the global economic climate. In conclusion, the Turkish banking crisis stands as a sobering testament to the fragility of economic stability and the resilience of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Through judicious examination of its causes and consequences, we glean invaluable insights into the intricacies of financial instability and the arduous path toward redemption, offering a roadmap for navigating the treacherous terrain of economic upheaval and steering toward a brighter and more prosperous future. Moving on towards the last but not the least case study of our course, which is the Chilean peso crisis of 1982, stands as a reminder of the perils inherent in rapid liberalization and unorthodox economic policies. This study seeks to unravel the intricacies of this historical event, diving into the factors that precipitate the crisis, its unfolding repercussions, and lessons learned from its aftermath. The Chicago Boys and Pinochet's regime in Chile, which is in the aftermath of General Pinochet's military coup in 1973, Chile witnessed a radical economic transformation spearheaded by a group of economists known as the Chicago Boys. These architects of neoliberal ideology embarked on a bold experiment implementing sweeping reforms, including rapid trade liberalization, deregulation, privatization, and the adoption of a fixed exchange rate policy. Initially held as visionary, these reforms ushered in a period of remarkable economic growth, buoyed by foreign investment and export boom. However, beneath the veneer prosperity lay the seeds of impending crisis sown by sustainable imbalances and unchecked vulnerabilities. The pillars of Chile's economic edifice erected upon the foundation of fixed exchange rate begin to show signs of strain. The overvalued peso, propped up by the fixed exchange rate regime, rendered Chilean exports uncompetitive on the global stage while incentivizing borrowing in foreign currency. Meanwhile, the devaluation of the financial sector unleashed a wave of risky lending practices, inflating asset bubbles and exacerbating debt levels. Against this background of these macroeconomic imbalances, fiscal deficits widened and current account deficits ballooned, portending an ominous storm on the horizon. So this global recession sweeping through the US and Europe in the early 80s cast a long shadow over Chile's economic fortunes. Demand for Chilean exports waned and foreign investment dwindled and export earnings faltered, resulting in a decline in foreign exchange reserves. As interest rates climbed and economic growth faltered, investor confidence waned, triggering a mass exodus of capital and precipitating a precipitous drop in foreign exchange reserves. The die was cast and the stage was set for the tumultuous events that would unfold in the months to come for Chile. In the crucible of crisis, the government was forced to confront the harsh realities of economic upheaval with no recourse left. The fixed exchange rate was abandoned in 1982, unleashing a cataclysmic devaluation of the peso. Panic gripped the nation as bank runs ensued, further weakening the fragile financial system. Hyperinflation reared its ugly head, reaching dizzying heights of over 300% in 1983, while the economy spiraled into a deep recession with GDP plunging by over 15%. The Chilean people found themselves ensnared in the throes of economic despair, grappling with unemployment, poverty, and social upheaval. Moving towards the slow and painful recovery through a combination of fiscal austerity, debt restructuring, and enhanced financial regulation, the country slowly clawed its way back from the abyss. However, the scars of this crisis lingered, casting a long shadow over Chilean society for years to come. The bitter lessons learned from the Chilean peso crisis resonate with profound clarity, underscoring the imperative of gradual and sequenced reforms, macroeconomic stability, prudential oversight of the financial sector, and economic diversification. So the Chilean peso crisis of 1982 stands as testament to the inherent risk of economic experimentation and the resilience of nations in the face of adversity. We have learned that we need to have gradual and sequenced reforms, macroeconomic stability, financial sector prudential oversight, and diversification of economy. So through a judicious examination of these causes and consequences, we emerge better equipped to navigate the treacherous waters of economic uncertainty and chart a course towards sustainable growth and prosperity. Thank you very much for attending today's class, and we hope we will see you in the finals, and we are completing this course with this chapter, inshallah. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.